Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. Today we are talking about bad teachers, or at least how to spot them. Like many people, I started learning about music at my local music store. I took guitar lessons there. And like many people, I went on to my high school music program, and unlike many people, I went on to college for music and ultimately ended up with a doctorate degree. So I have seen good teachers, great teachers, average teachers, and bad teachers at every level. Now, this channel is not about controversy. It's not about criticizing people. This is a lesson for you in case you are looking for a teacher, or maybe you're in a situation with a teacher already and you're like, I'm not sure if this is going well. Well, here are some signs that you have a bad teacher. They don't teach you with a guitar in their hand. This might seem crazy, but that's exactly what happened to me with my first teacher at the music store. We were in a small room with a piano, and he never had a guitar. Fundamental to teaching instrumental lessons is modeling, actually doing what you're asking the student to do. Now, I'm not talking about virtuosity and shredding or anything like that. I'm talking about just how do you hold the guitar? How do you use your fingers? How do you get in the tips of your fingers? How do you hold the pick? I had a teacher for the whole time I studied with him, I'm not sure how long that was, never had me use my fourth finger. As is often the case, there might be a generation gap between the teacher and the student, and that's totally fine, and it's up to the teacher to learn about the student's interest. But when I was in high school, and I had a good high school music program, I took an improvisation class with a classical trumpet player who was the teacher. I knew more about improvisation than he did, and I ended up walking away, I don't think, learning anything. But I will say he widely used Patterns for Jazz. It's a classic book. Get it on your shelf. This is my original copy that I got in high school, and I still reference it to this day. So I got something from it. But basically, they think whatever their success was as a student and even a professional, that's the way you should do it. The fact is, people learn differently. They have different paths, and it's up to the teacher to find how that student learns best. This is a teacher who you might go into the lesson and maybe you're playing a jazz standard with them or something, or whatever they're playing, and they say, check out what I'm doing, and if there's something you like, tell me and I'll show it to you. This is lazy because they're not bothering to check in with you, the student, what you want to learn and what may be happening in front of them that is or isn't working. It could be an egotistical teacher. Sometimes this goes hand in hand with a teacher who will only talk about their own artistry, but if you ask about another artist you like, I won't talk about that guy. You need to know repertoire, but if you're coming in and they're just showing you songs that you already know, or even the ones that you bring in, and that's where you're leaving it, you're not really getting a good understanding of music. So if you're not playing those songs, you're stuck. But this also goes for the teacher who only shows exercises, the teacher who only shows scales. A good lesson needs to be well balanced so that you're looking at music more holistically and how it applies to the instrument. And as a teacher, you need to be helping the student build a foundation where they can create for themselves and learn how to learn for themselves. Just because your teacher is a better player than you doesn't mean they should be teaching you. We see this a lot on the internet. If I've been playing 6 months and you just picked up the guitar today, sure, there's things that I could probably show you that you don't know yet, but I don't know that that's teaching in the best sense. This happens at all levels. It definitely happens at the highest levels, at the conservatories and music schools, where you might have a famous teacher and they draw students in, but they're not really good at teaching. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you can show somebody else how to do it. People go to school and learn how to teach music. Teaching music is a specific set of skills. I've been lucky enough to study with teachers who are well-known composers and guitarists and make records, but I've also studied with those who aren't as well-known but just really can communicate what it is that I need to work on as a student. And they can see the gaps and see what it is I need to do next to go to the next level. So you go into the lesson, maybe even the first lesson, you say to the teacher, well, these are the things that I'm interested in learning. And they say, okay, but you have to do A, B, and C first, and then we'll address that. You go and do A, B, and C, and then they go, well, you know, you really should do D, E, and F, and we'll address that. Now, it's one thing if you did A, B, and C and you really kind of dogged it and you didn't do it 100%. But if you did it 100% and you did what they asked and you achieved the goal and they're moving the goalposts, they've been teaching a long time, there's certain things they want to teach and they're not going to deviate from that, and they're going to bait and switch on you. You come into your lesson and the teacher says, well, what do you want to work on this week? I believe in flexibility in the lesson, and I certainly believe in addressing students' interests, no doubt about it. You seek out a good teacher because they have experience and wisdom, and they can see things that you can't. They should know what your goals are, where you want to go, and they should be attentive along the way, showing you what you need to do to get there. Now, this might not necessarily be a bad teacher, but nobody teaches all styles. Think of all the styles in the world. Nobody teaches all styles. But if you come to me for jazz and blues and rock and things that fit into those traditions, I got you covered. If you come to me for nylon string interpretation of Renaissance lute music, I'm probably going to refer you elsewhere. This isn't necessarily a bad teacher. This is probably more on your expectations as a student. If you're going to study, let's say, with a famous bebop guitar teacher, well, then you might want to strap in and get what you came for from that teacher. If I went to study with Pat Mattingly, I wouldn't ask him to teach me a C major scale or any kind of the basics or generalities of music. I'd want to pick his brain and see how does he think about it and what makes his genius tick. So if you have the opportunity to be with teachers like that, it might be on you to really get the most out of it. When you're looking for a teacher, find the best one you can. Find someone that you can trust and that you are paying them for their wisdom and experience and their guidance. A good, concerned teacher will understand your goals, ask you what they are, and pay attention to your progress and say, oh, hold on here. Let's try this, use this fingering. Where are we trying to get to? Here's what we need to do. Here's the longer term plan, and here's how we break it down every week. Things like that. I hope this helps you. If you're looking for a teacher or any student-teacher relationship that you're in, I hope that you're in a great student-teacher relationship and you're getting everything out of it and you're moving forward and making great progress. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out my latest instrumental guitar release. It's very eclectic, very guitar forward, solo pieces, duets, fusion bands, jazz bands. I hope you will check it out, and we will see you next video.